I thought I knew the woman I was about to marry. I thought love was enough to overlook small moments of discomfort, the comments that made me uneasy, the looks she gave people she believed didn't matter. I told myself I was overthinking. I told myself everyone has flaws. Then I put on a sanitation worker's uniform, stepped onto the same streets she walked every day, and watched her look straight through me like I wasn't human at all. In her eyes, I wasn't her fiancé anymore. I wasn't a man. I was dirt on the sidewalk. Something to be avoided. Something to be humiliated. And that was the moment my chest tightened. Not with anger, but with a sick, aching clarity. Because when someone shows you who they are to the powerless, they are showing you their truest self. Stay with me, because what happened next didn't just end a wedding, it exposed a truth that shattered everything I thought I knew. People think racism always announces itself loudly. They imagine slurs, shouting, fists clenched in anger. But the most dangerous kind is quieter, polite, casual. It smiles while it cuts. I learned that truth on a Tuesday morning in Chicago, standing on a sidewalk in the Gold Coast, holding a broom with blistered hands that didn't belong to the life I actually lived. A white SUV rolled to a stop in front of Lakeview Heights residences, sunlight bouncing off its polished hood. The driver's door opened, and Brittany Holloway stepped out. Designer leggings, perfect hair, sunglasses that cost more than some people's rent. My fiancée. She didn't recognize me. She didn't even really look at me. She wrinkled her nose instead. "Can you move?" she said, her voice sharp, impatient. "You're blocking the entrance and—" She waved her hand in front of her face. "You smell." Her friends laughed from inside the car. One of them covered her nose dramatically, like it was a joke. Like I was a joke, I tightened my grip on the broom. 3 months earlier, I had slid a diamond ring onto this woman's finger in a restaurant overlooking Lake Michigan. She had cried, or performed crying very convincingly. There were photos, champagne, Instagram captions about soulmates and destiny, and now she was staring at me like I was trash that hadn't learned to stay in its place. "I'm working here, ma'am," I said quietly, lowering my voice the way I'd practiced. She scoffed. "Working? This is a luxury building, not a place for people like you." She pointed down the street. "Go clean somewhere else, and please, take a shower." The words "people like you" landed heavier than anything else. Not because of the uniform, not because of the broom, because of the way her eyes slid over my skin, my face, my existence, and decided I wasn't worth basic respect. A security guard watched from the booth. He looked away. No one said a word. Brittany got back into her SUV, still talking. "If he scratches my car, I'm calling the police." The engine roared. The car disappeared, and I stood there invisible again. What she didn't know, what none of them knew, was that the man she had just humiliated was Marcus Ellison, a black tech CEO whose company employed over 200 people. A man whose name had been printed in business magazines. A man who was supposed to be in London that week closing a deal. Instead, I was here, on purpose, for 21 days. Because something inside me had already started to crack long before I picked up that broom. It started small. Comments Brittany didn't realize she was making. The way she complained when I dressed casually. How she talked about image like it was oxygen. How she treated waiters, valets, cleaning staff. Always with impatience. Always with a smile that didn't reach her eyes. I told myself it didn't matter. Everyone has flaws, right? But flaws don't make you throw hot coffee at a street cleaner because he got too close. That happened 2 weeks before my trip. I couldn't sleep that night. I kept thinking about something I'd read. People show you who they are when they think no one important is watching. So I asked myself a terrifying question. What if I stopped being important? The disguise wasn't just clothes, it was erasure. I shaved my head, added a rough beard, bought a used sanitation uniform, old boots, a battered cap with a tiny camera hidden in the brim. I practiced walking slower, keeping my eyes down, shrinking. In this city, a black man in a suit is visible. A black man with a broom is not. That was the point. 3 weeks pretending to be gone. Scheduled messages, old photos from a previous London trip, short calls. Brittany never suspected a thing. She missed me. She just didn't miss people. That morning outside Lakeview Heights wasn't even the worst part. Later, I sat on a bench near Pulse One Fitness, where Brittany worked out every day. People passed me like I was a lamppost. Kids played nearby. A mother pushed a stroller. No one saw me. At 9 sharp, Brittany came out with 2 friends, laughing loudly. She stopped right in front of me. "Seriously," one of them said, "why do these guys always stand right where you're walking?" Brittany didn't answer at first. She just stared at me. Then she smiled, a small, cruel smile. "You can wait," she said. "We're talking." So I waited. 3 minutes, 5. My arms ached. My jaw clenched. When they finally moved, she looked back one last time, not angry, not annoyed, disgusted. That look followed me all day. At lunch at a cafe on Michigan Avenue, she complained loudly about dirty people ruining her appetite. In the afternoon, she laughed when a salon employee nervously asked me to step away from the window because a VIP client was uncomfortable seeing me. That employee was fired 30 minutes later. I watched her leave crying. That night, sitting alone in a cheap storage unit I'd rented for the disguise, I reviewed the footage. Every word, every look. This wasn't a bad day. This was a pattern. And underneath the designer clothes and curated captions, something ugly lived comfortably inside the woman I was supposed to marry. The hardest part wasn't the insults. It was realizing how easy it was for people to treat me this way when they believed I had no power. When they believed my blackness, my uniform, my silence meant I didn't matter. I lay back against the cold concrete wall staring at the ceiling. 19 days left. Enough time for her to prove me wrong. Enough time for her to prove me right. And deep down, I already knew which one terrified me more. Before I continue this story, I want to ask you something, because this isn't just my story. Have you ever treated someone differently because of how they looked or what job they did? Answer honestly, yes or no. By the end of the first week, I stopped flinching when people ignored me. That scared me more than the insults. Because the human mind adapts fast. Too fast. You learn where to stand so you don't block anyone important. You learn to speak softly so you don't sound aggressive. You learn that silence keeps you safer than truth. And I learned something else. Brittany wasn't cruel by accident. Cruelty was simply easier when she believed the person in front of her didn't matter. Day 8. I was sweeping outside Lux Avenue Salon, the kind of place where every mirror screamed wealth and every smile was practiced. Through the glass, I saw Brittany laughing with her friends, hands waving, nails freshly done. Then someone walked in, a woman everyone recognized. Phones came out instantly, excited whispers, a ripple of admiration. Brittany jumped to her feet. "Oh my God, Olivia Grant, I'm obsessed with you," she said, her voice suddenly warm, sweet, almost gentle. She offered her seat, complimented the bag, asked for selfies, promised to tag her. For 5 minutes, Brittany was perfect, kind, attentive, gracious. Then the influencer left, and Brittany's face changed, not slowly, instantly, like a switch had flipped. She noticed me standing across the street, broom in hand. Her smile vanished. She walked to the front desk and whispered something to the receptionist, pointing at me. The young woman hesitated, nodded, then stepped outside. "Sir," she said quietly, eyes apologetic, "the client inside asked if you could move. She says you're distracting." I looked past her. Brittany was watching through the window, arms crossed, waiting to be obeyed. "This is a public sidewalk," I said. "I know," the receptionist whispered. "I'm sorry, she's a VIP." I moved. 5 minutes later, I saw the manager call the receptionist aside. I saw the sharp gestures, the anger, the nod. 10 minutes later, the girl walked out crying, holding her bag. She had been fired because she hadn't been cruel enough. I followed her for half a block before she stopped, wiping her face. "They said I was rude to the client," she said, "that I caused a scene instead of just telling you to leave." "But you were polite," I said. She laughed bitterly. "Doesn't matter. She spends more money in a month than I make in a year." She walked away. I stood there shaking, not because of what happened to me, because of what happened to her. That night I didn't sleep. I kept replaying the moment Brittany's kindness evaporated the second status left the room. The way she had used power like a weapon and walked away clean. I wanted to stop the test. I wanted to go home, tear off the disguise, confront her, end it all. But something told me not yet. I needed to see how far she would go. Day 14, morning at Pulse One Fitness. Brittany arrived early, earbuds in, confidence loud even in silence. She saw me near the entrance and stopped, pulled out her phone, took a picture. I heard her laugh as she posted it. Half an hour later, the building manager stormed outside. "Are you the guy who keeps hanging around here?" he demanded. "I work this area," I said. "Do you?" He crossed his arms. "Because a resident sent me photos of you loitering. Said you're making people uncomfortable." "Resident?" I knew exactly who. "Where's your ID?" he snapped. I didn't have one. "Thought so," he said. "You're lucky I don't call the cops. Get out of here. If I see you again, you won't be." People were watching, recording, judging. Across the street, Brittany stood near the gym entrance, phone in hand, smiling. Satisfied. That was the moment something inside me cracked. Not loudly, quietly. Day 19, lunch hour. A rooftop restaurant overlooking the city. Brittany sat with her friends, wine glasses clinking, laughter floating over the street. I stood across from them, just close enough for the microphone to catch everything. She checked her phone, smiled at a name I recognized. Jason. The man she told me was just a colleague. Her friends teased her. She brushed it off. Then she said it. "I didn't choose Marcus because I loved him," she laughed. "I chose him because he's successful. I'd never marry someone mediocre." They raised their glasses. I felt something hollow open in my chest. I crossed the street slowly, stopped beside the table. "Excuse me," I said gently, holding out a bill. "You dropped this." For half a second, just one, her expression softened. She really looked at me, and for that single second, I thought maybe there was still something human left. Then she took the money without touching my hand. Her face hardened. "You can go now." "I just wanted to return it," I said. She laughed, sharp, cold. "You expect a tip for not stealing?" She leaned forward. "People like you always hang around places like this looking for opportunities." Silence fell over the table. "I didn't steal anything," I said quietly. She stood. "I could call the police and say you did," she said, calm, certain. "Now leave before I actually do." Then she said the words that burned into me. "People like you never learn." I walked away, didn't look back. That evening outside Lakeview Heights, I saw her again. This time she wasn't alone. Jason was with her. His hand rested on her back. Intimate, familiar. She laughed, called him love. The doorman held the door open for them. When Jason passed, Brittany thanked him warmly. When I stood there, soaked from the water she had just thrown at me moments later, she called me a threat. She screamed for security. She told them I was stalking her. She knew it wasn't true. She didn't care. As water dripped down my face and my fake beard sagged, I realized something terrifying. She wasn't afraid of me. She was confident I couldn't fight back. Because in her mind, a black man in a sanitation uniform didn't deserve truth, or justice, or humanity. I walked away before the police arrived, turned the corner, sat in an alley, and for the first time in 3 weeks, I cried. Not because I had lost her, but because I had almost lost myself trying to believe she was someone she never was. I looked at the footage on my phone. Everything was there. Every insult, every lie, every act of quiet violence. And in that moment, I made my decision. I wouldn't cancel the wedding quietly. I wouldn't disappear. I would tell the truth, in front of everyone. The truth doesn't always arrive with noise. Sometimes it waits quietly, patient, until the room is full. The engagement celebration was held at Riverside Grand Hall, a place designed to impress. White flowers, gold accents, champagne flowing like nothing in the world could ever go wrong. 200 guests filled the room, friends, family, business partners, people who had already decided what kind of man I was and what kind of woman Brittany was supposed to become. She looked flawless. Soft pink dress, perfect makeup, a smile practiced enough to pass as joy. She had no idea. At 3:17 p.m., the host tapped the microphone. "Before we continue," she said cheerfully, "the groom couldn't be here today, but he sent a surprise video message from London. Applause broke out instantly. Brittany's hand flew to her chest. She looked genuinely touched. "Oh my God," she whispered. "He didn't tell me." The lights dimmed. The screen lit up. But it wasn't a romantic message. It was me, standing at the back of the hall, in a black suit, head shaved, face calm, eyes steady. The room fell silent. Brittany turned slowly. When she saw me standing there in real life, the color drained from her face. "I never went to London," I said, my voice carrying across the room. "I stayed here for 21 days. Confusion rippled through the crowd. I walked forward, each step deliberate. "For 3 weeks," I continued, "I lived as someone most of you never see. A sanitation worker. Invisible, ignored, disrespected." I connected my phone to the screen. The first video played. Brittany's voice filled the room. "Move! You smell! This isn't a place for people like you." Gasps. Someone covered their mouth. The second video followed, her laughing with an influencer, then pointing me out, moments before an innocent salon employee was fired. The third showed her threatening to call the police, accusing me of stealing, pouring water over my head. The words echoed again. "People like you never learn." No one spoke. Brittany's mother sank into her chair, sobbing. Her father stared at the floor. Friends who had laughed with her days earlier avoided eye contact. I paused the video. "I didn't show these clips online," I said calmly. "I didn't do this for revenge. I did it because I almost married someone I didn't know." Brittany shook her head violently. "This is insane," she cried. "You tricked me." "No," I said. "I gave you the freedom to be exactly who you are when you thought no one important was watching." She stepped toward me, tears spilling. "If I had known it was you—" "That's the point," I cut in, my voice firm. "If you had known it was me, you would have treated me differently. And that means your kindness was never real." Silence pressed down on the room like weight. "You didn't just humiliate me," I continued. "You humiliated every person who cleans your streets, serves your food, protects your buildings, people you rely on but refuse to respect." I removed the ring from my finger and placed it on the table. "This wedding ends today." I turned to leave. Brittany reached for my arm. "Please, I can change." I looked at her hand on my sleeve. "Change doesn't happen because you got caught," I said softly. "It happens when you believe you were wrong." I walked out. The doors closed behind me. Within hours, the videos spread, not because I shared them, but because someone else did. The internet did what it always does. Headlines followed. Debates exploded. But I refused every interview. That story didn't belong to the media. It belonged to the people who had lived it every day. Weeks later, something unexpected happened. At my company, janitors stopped walking past my office quietly. Security guards greeted me with warmth. One man shook my hand with tears in his eyes. "Thank you," he said, "for seeing us." We implemented new policies, mandatory training, fair wages, scholarships for the children of service workers. During the launch event, a woman named Maria stood on stage shaking. "My daughter just got into medical school," she said. "I clean offices at night. I never thought this life would give us anything more." I stood in the back of the room. That applause wasn't for me. Months later, on a quiet afternoon, I walked into a small cafe on Michigan Avenue. The smell of coffee stopped me. I knew that place. Behind the counter, wearing an apron, stood Brittany. She froze when she saw me. She looked different, tired, smaller, human in a way she never had before. She tried to speak. I raised my hand gently. "No," I said, "I'm not here for that." I left a generous tip, not out of pity, but respect. Before I walked away, I said one last thing. "You don't owe me an apology. You owe decency to everyone else." Outside, the city moved on, and so did I. I didn't lose a fiancé. I gained clarity. I learned that dignity doesn't come from titles, money, or applause. It comes from how you treat people when you believe they can't do anything for you. And once you see that truth, you can never unsee it. Before the story ends, I want to hear from you. How did this story make you feel? Do you believe people truly change, or do they only regret being exposed? If you felt something while listening, please comment 111 below so I know this story reached you. Tell me which country you're watching from. And if this story moved you, please share it, because conversations like this only matter if we're brave enough to keep them going.